Welcome back to the Game Smart channel. Hope you guys are doing well out there. Today we're going to talk about transparency and disclosure. When you are playing an online slot or even a land-based casino, don't you want to know what's going on? Don't you want to understand how you're protected, how the games work, things like that? We're going to talk about all that stuff today. And then I have some further opinions on the situation that's come up these last couple of weeks. I think we need to really dive into some of this and really get a good understanding of what's going on, because transparency is key when you're putting money on the line. That's our opinion, and we feel very strongly about it. Let's get into it. All right, guys, so the word of the day today is transparency. And why do we think that's important? Would you really want to go into a gambling establishment and put money on the line when you don't have all the information in front of you? To me, that is a red flag. That is something that causes me to take a step back and say, wait, is there something else going on here? And you're putting money on the line, guys. This is a whole nother level compared to just going into a movie theater. They may be showing you the wrong movie or something. Yeah, lame comparison, but I'm trying to drive home the point that we are in this for the money. We are putting our hard-earned money on the line, and wouldn't you want to have the right information before going in and doing that? I think the answer is yes for most of us. So transparency is really key when it comes to gambling anywhere, land-based casinos, online, doesn't matter, in person. You need to know and understand the game. You need to understand how your money's being used, what your odds are, what the types of games are they regulated or not? These are things that all of us should be hoping for whenever we go in and start putting money on the line. And unfortunately, some of these casinos, especially some of the online casinos, we're starting to see some holes in that, right? And that's what is driving me to be concerned about where our money's going and how it's being used. And then also, are we playing a fair game? Do we know that for sure? And I think we should all start demanding and asking questions of these establishments when it comes to that. So why does transparency really matter? It's about building trust with your audience, right? If you are transparent as to how things work, the more likely your audience is going to return, because they build that trust factor with you. And the reason that we have trust inside of most land-based casinos is because of the regulations in place. We know we have a gaming commission oversight. We have a place to run to when things go wrong. Those are things that build trust with players, and we feel very strongly about that. And that's why we always are trying to talk people out of some of these online gaming sites, because that regulation and third-party oversight is not there, and so it's a little bit harder to earn trust. I'm not saying that all online casinos, sweeps, or whatever are not trustworthy. A lot of them are, but because there's nobody else looking after us, that trust can break. And that's what this really is about, in my opinion. I hate to keep bringing up the Mr. Handpay video, because I know a lot of you in the comments are going to say, yeah, you're just milking the system. Guys, if you know who we are and what we stand for, that's not the reason that we're jumping on this. The reason we're jumping on this is that we have spent over 18 months with this channel trying to promote player advocacy, talking to casinos, online or not, on your behalf. Like we are trying to make sure that they are doing the right thing. And this is something we feel, Dave and I feel very strongly about, and the reason that we do what we do. We want you to have all the information before going in and playing these games. And this holds true for land-based casinos too. This is why I've been very vocal about how these things work, and some of the gaming casino management, how they handle situations, as well as gaming control, how they handle complaints. We've been very vocal about that, because this is what builds transparency in this industry. And it's very unfortunate that not just with online slots, but even land-based casinos, they're not very forthcoming with this kind of stuff. And we really hope that changes. And I feel very strongly that this video that came out is going to be an initial step to us being able to do this. So what's very puzzling to me about this whole situation is that Jason over at Mr. Handpay released this video that seems pretty detailed, in my opinion. You have a recorded phone call between an online sweeps casino that is very popular, and then you also have a lot of things being revealed in there about how they partner up with influencers. And the fact that this came out, and then the other side, instead of responding to it, saying, no, here's proof that we are not using fake money, or they aren't funding us or whatever, it's just resulted in name calling. And in my opinion, that is the worst kind of defense that's ever possible, is instead of just saying, we deny it, here's proof, or we screwed up, yes, we were using their money. Either way, those are the two right calls, in my opinion. The other ones, where you're just name calling and trying to discredit the source, That's a weak defense. And that's why I feel even more strongly about Jason, Mr. Handpay, and what he's trying to do in this video. And again, I mentioned in our previous run of this that I wasn't trying to take sides, but I do expect and I demand the other side to come out with some kind of statement that is not just trying to discredit the source, but actually prove it that you are not using money funded by these online casinos. I think we need to know that. As players, we should demand that. We should demand that you be open and honest with people, because you will eventually get caught, and we all know that. It gets difficult to keep up with all the lies and misinformation. Eventually you're going to slip up and get caught. And I don't know, maybe I'm just built different than most people, but I feel that even if you did screw up, let's say that they, for example, they were using house money for these videos and stuff that they did, why not just come out and say it? Yeah, guys, we were using our house money. Yeah, we probably should have mentioned it, but we didn't. We will start mentioning it from now on. Your audience will forgive you. Right? Yeah, the initial reaction will be, what are you talking about? But the audience will forgive you, because we're all human. We make mistakes. We think about, what we should have been doing and what we didn't do, and those kinds of things. And those can all work themselves out if you're just open and honest and admit that you might have made a mistake. But unfortunately, we're not seeing that. And now there's a lot of stuff going on where comments are being deleted. And, I wish that we could all just come together and realize that it's not about who and what, it's about the content. It's about what came out here. And in the sake of transparency, I really hope that this changes. I hope that we don't just let this get brushed under the rug and then move along like nothing ever happened. That is not how we initiate change in this industry. And so I'm going to keep talking about this. I know a lot of you are exhausted with it already. I understand that. But for me and this channel, and I know Dave feels the same way, we are going to use this as an example to really start to push casinos for more transparency and disclosure. Okay, if you're going to be doing something that is with influencers or not, or you're going to launch a new casino, you need to provide as much information to the players so they're well informed, they fully understand what's going on. They know the RTP is being regulated, or at least there's some kind of oversight. They need to see these things. We need to see these things so that we understand what's going on and we feel comfortable going in and building trust with that organization. And trust is not just in gaming, it's everywhere. It's trust in brands, Samsung, Apple, Sony, whatever the case is. You build trust with that brand knowing that you are buying the right thing and not being tricked, right? You buy a 4K television and you bring it home and it's not 4K, that you would lose trust in that organization. And so this is something that happens to us everywhere, but in gaming, we're putting a lot of money on the line and we want to know that everything's on the up and up. So why not just come out and tell us, what is that actually hurting? I don't know. That's just my personal opinion on it. I wish it would change, but here we are. All right, so here I'm going to actually give you a perfect example of this, because we do actually have an ad spot for this video. I know it sounds like ironic, basically talking about this, but I'm going to use this to set an example for everybody out there. And we have been sponsoring Pop Slots for this month because we're giving away a seat to the World Tournament of Slots that's happening in the end of October. And we were very thrilled that these guys approached us, because in exchange for them compensating us, we are going to be able to give away a ticket to this World Tournament of Slots, which is 1 in 500 chance to win $1 million. And so one of our lucky commenters on either this video or any of the other videos that we mentioned Pop Slots on, you're going to get an entry into the World Tournament of Slots. So again, full disclosure, here's a good template for you guys out there. We are being sponsored by Pop Slots. We are being compensated for it. But the reason we did that is because we got something good in exchange that we can offer to you. And that makes us feel good, right? And plus, Dave and I have been playing Pop Slots forever. Him a way longer time than me. Decades he's been playing Pop Slots. So this is something that we already use and already recommend. So it was a perfect fit for this. All right, with that, let me show you this quick injection ad and we'll be right back. Hey, what are you doing? We got all these machines to be working on. What are you doing, man? We don't have time for this.
I'm actually playing Pop Slots.
Oh.
This way I can enjoy some casino style action for free and get a chance to enter for the World Tournament of Slots. There's 500 seats being given away and our channel is giving away one of them. So comment on this video and any video where you see this promo and you have a chance to enter our seat that we're giving away.
I think the slot machines can wait. Go Go check it out. There's a perfect example of disclosure, and this is something that Dave and I are going to be doing. If we're sponsored by anything, at the beginning of the video or wherever it's appropriate, we're going to mention that. But one of the other things to disclosure is transparency. So those actually go both hand in hand. And so whenever you are disclosing you're about to do an ad, maybe you should be transparent about what that ad means to you. What does it mean to you, the audience? Why did we pick that ad? Why is it relevant to you? And what are my benefits of doing this ad? Those are things that I think we should all be doing, and not think we should do it. The FTC requires it. If you do any kind of paid promotion, whatever it may be, and you're being compensated for it, the FTC requires you to disclose that. You don't have to disclose the actual dollar amount, but you have to come out and say that you're being disclosed. And the reason is so that you have the right information going in, knowing that there may be some kind of compensation involved. It's giving you the right information. Transparency. But the other thing that I think is really important to disclose is whether or not their opinions have been forced upon you. Meaning, do we need to tell the audience something? And this is what came out in that video. When it comes to those online sweeps casinos, their position is that you need to tell them that it's your money even though it's not, right? And that should be disclosed. That should be part of it, because does that sway your opinion on what you're about to see? In my opinion, yes, it does. I need to kind of know that so that the reactions and things that we see are legitimate and real. You know, are we playing the same game that this person's doing? Those are important things that we should all be demanding. And one of the things that we will never do, and we tell, this is why we lose a lot of opportunity on this channel for these, partnerships and things, is that we always tell them that you have no editorial control. You cannot tell us what to say. All the opinions are our own, and they cannot review it before we post it. Like, those are things that we feel very strongly about, because that way you know that there's not we're not just lip service. We're not being paid to say one thing that we don't agree with. We will always be transparent and open about why we select one of these things. And I challenge all influencers to start going down this route. I think things will really change in your favor. People will trust you more. They will trust what you partner with more, because everybody is being open and honest about it, okay? So the last thing I want to say about transparency and disclosure is, listen, we struggle with this industry already. I mentioned it briefly before, but I'm getting really tired of all casinos, land-based, online casinos, stuff like that, hiding behind the shroud of truth or hiding behind what is actually going on. Why can't they be open and honest about what their RTP, return to player settings are, how the gaming control comes in and checks their machines, how they decide which machines to put into the casino floor and where they put them. All of these myths and craziness that's been going on that we've been trying to disprove for the last 18 months can all be solved if the people behind the casino industry will start talking to people. And the excuse that I always hear is, well, it's, trade secrets. We don't want the competition to know. I'm going to call BS on that. I really think that they can be open and honest about this stuff. And that is what we are trying to do here on this channel. By building our audience up, it's giving us a chance to influence them, right? It's not always about influence you guys. It's about taking the power of the number of viewers and subscribers we have and then running to those people that run the casinos, run the online sweeps, run the social casinos, whatever the case is, running to them with the power of our audience and saying, we demand change. And that is a big endeavor that Dave and I are trying to take on. And so if you want to be part of that, let us know in the comment section below, but also in the comment section below, let us know how important transparency is to you in this industry. Are there things that I didn't mention that we should demand from casinos? Let us know. Interesting thought. All right, as always, guys, we really appreciate you watching. Gamble smart, gamble safe. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.